All right, we just need football to start because this is getting cuckoo-cachoo. I can hear Sean Payton laughing as he reads the most bogus report ranking your Denver Broncos at almost dead last at a position where truly they have the best player in the AFC West from last year. We're breaking that down and way more in this video. If you're new to the channel, I'm a Denver Broncos fan, and I can't wait to clap back at this bogus report with all y'all. So here's the deal, that PFF has done all of their rankings. We know that they've gushed all about our defense, and that's fantastic, but they are putting our running back room just criminally low, and we've got to dive in here. So they are saying that the Denver Broncos have the 4th worst running back room in the entire NFL, which is absolutely wild, because did you know that the Denver Broncos currently, as their running back 1, have the best running back from the AFC West last season, and it's not even close. So you take a look here, and it's a little bit confusing because now you're seeing logos switch on here, but when you look here, JK Dobbins was the 22nd best rusher in the NFL, even though he was hurt last year, with 905 yards, and you got to go way down here till you find Kareem Hunt as the next best running back in the AFC West last year. So currently the best running back from last season is on our team, and then everything else is just absolute speculation. We got to dive into some more about how good JK Dobbins is and some facts I just didn't know about him. But what this is doing here and why it makes me so offended is just the fact that you're putting Kansas City Chiefs above us when, like, we're already seeing that, like, Kareem Hunt isn't him. Isaiah Pacheco is as injury prone as JK Dobbins, and we know that JK Dobbins had a better season last year than him. And then what makes me really mad is that you're coming up here and that you're seeing that basically they're giving this kind of love to Omarion Hampton that they're not giving to RJ Harvey. And even worse than that, you're going up here and seeing that the worst running team in the NFL last year wasn't your Denver Broncos. Even though they weren't good by our standards, it was actually the Las Vegas Raiders. And even though they were the worst running back room in the league last year, you're just coming out right away and assuming that Ashton Jeanty is going to be what all of the hype about him was last year. Did we not learn our lesson when we said, oh, you guys, without a doubt, we're going to see that Caleb Williams is better than Bo Nix? Well, how did that work out for them? Without a doubt, we're going to see that Drake May is better than Bo Nix. Well, it does not work out like that. And I just think Sean Payton has to be seeing those rankings and just thinking about when he drafted Alvin Kamara. And there were a lot of running backs drafted before Kamara who, going in, I bet PFF said, the New Orleans Saints have like the 28th best running room in the entire league because Alvin Kamara is not going to be as good as Joe Mixon, or not as good as Dalvin Cook, or not as good as Leonard Fournette. Who knows right now who do you trust right now to find the diamond in the rough? Do you trust Sean Payton or do you trust Pete Carroll? That's what it comes down to. And by my guesstimations, I think that RJ Harvey has just as good of a chance of hitting as Omarion Hampton, just as good of a chance as hitting as Ashton Jeanty. And so we saw Leonard Fournette drafted at number 4, not even in the league anymore. And obviously you'd rather have Alvin Kamara that Sean Payton stole in the 3rd round over a guy that you picked overall number 4 in the NFL. And I think Christian McCaffrey, that they're kind of very similar in my estimation. I guess I would take Christian McCaffrey over Alvin Kamara. But if I got to choose as an NFL franchise, hey, do I want Christian McCaffrey with the 8th overall pick in the NFL draft, or do I want Alvin Kamara with the 67th overall pick? I'm taking Kamara all day long, and definitely taking him over Dalvin Cook or Joe Mixon. So that is absolutely wild. But let's dive into just some of the disrespect really about JK Dobbins and stuff that I learned about him that I definitely didn't know. Has an incredibly cool story, and just seeing that he is coming from a storied historical franchise with the Ohio State Buckeyes, okay? And just went back and watched a bunch of his games there, seeing just a cool inception story there where his mom was pregnant with him at 18 years old, almost gave him up and decided to change her mind at the last second and had him. And then life wasn't easy for him. When he was in high school, his dad, who was also a stud high school football player, wore number 27. His dad died of a stroke when he was in prison when J.K. Dobbins was just in high school, and so that's why he wears the number 27. So it makes him buying number 27 from Damari Mathis even cooler to see him wearing that. And just seeing the Ohio State University has cranked out some insane running backs, right? And you take a look at J.K. Dobbins was one of the best Ohio State running backs of all time that he had right when he was rushing against top 13 defenses in college football. He averaged almost 200 yards per game. That is wild. He ends up graduating from the Ohio State University as the 2nd best running back of all time, just behind Archie Griffin. And then we hear, oh, he's injury plagued. He's injury plagued. Well, he broke his leg in high school. And then when he got to the Ohio State University, he didn't ever miss another game. He started every single game that he was supposed to and played. And then he started 40 of the 42 games. So all of this talk about like, man, he's injury plagued. These injuries are not related. And it's not like he's got an injury gene in him. He has had bad luck, and there's bad luck all the time. But that does not mean that is necessarily going to happen or that those things are connected. It's not like he keeps banging up the same knee or he keeps messing up the same thing. And one of the wild stats is not just that he was a beast in college football, he also is a beast in the NFL. And if you take his yards per carry, rush carry over time, he would actually be the highest yards per carry running back in the league, basically in league history. I think he would be number 3. He just has not hit that minimum number of carries for them to be able to hit that number. So if he has a normal year this year and he carries at a similar clip that he does, 5.2 yards per carry, that means you're getting a first down every 2 times you hand him the ball. And we saw it last year. Like that is why we are so excited to have him. And if he just carries a normal amount this year, you're going to see that he's going to be one of the best running backs of all time if he stays healthy. He came back last year and at the start of last season told Chargers media, like, hey, if I get the volume, I'll be one of the best in the league. And he before last year, he was averaging 5.8 yards per clip, and that is just absolutely wild. He is going to be fully recovered from his most latest injury. He actually came back and was kind of peaking as the playoffs started last year, and the Chargers really got away from handing him the ball because Justin Herbert kept throwing picks all the time. So he threw 4 interceptions in that playoff game. You don't hand the ball off then because you got to throw because you are behind. And so sleeping on the best running back in the AFC West last year, who is now a Denver Bronco, is criminal. And then all of a sudden, like just hyping up all of these other rookies and just downplaying what RJ Harvey could be just is ridiculous. We look here, JK Dobbins was the comeback player of the NFL last year, and he came back healthy. Like he was back in the playoffs. So it's not like he's starting this season off injured. He played last year in the playoffs, and that is just a very, very good sign. I went through and was just watching some clips of him, man, playing in college. There are some wild clips that I hadn't seen, including some of these clips here from a game against Michigan. And again, you're talking about a national championship level defense with Hutchinson out there, who was ranked over Nick Benito, which is wild. Hutchinson playing dirty down there and pulls off the dude's shoe, and he just goes on and just absolutely annihilates the Michigan Wolverine defense. And I live in Michigan now. I was born and raised in Colorado, and I moved to Michigan for my bride. And they hate JK Dobbins here because they never could stop him with the Michigan Wolverines. And he is a beast of a running back. And I think if he stays healthy, which he's now working with the training room that has a proven receipts of keeping guys healthy, like that is what Sean Payton has done. He took the most injured team in NFL under Nathaniel Hackett, and for 2 seasons in a row, we've been the 31st team when it comes to like injuries and the 32nd, meaning like we're the best team when it comes to keeping a player healthy, and JK Dobbins has his best chance ever of staying healthy with your Denver Broncos. I think the other person that they're probably sleeping on is Jaleel. I think Jaleel is much better than people think. Again, you're talking about the pedigree goes all the way back to high school, where he won not 1, not 2, but 3 state championships. He won a state championship in track and field, blazing 40 time. He also won a ring for being a basketball player, and then also for being a football player. Like, I have worked in high schools my entire life, and I don't think I've ever had a high school where we've won a state championship in any of those things. Even though like I've been at schools all over the place, and the fact that he won 3 state championships in different sports, just a wild. And then you see the work ethic to follow that as an undrafted guy, not making a ton of money. Last year, he went out in the offseason and bought himself a $5,000 jugs machine so that he could practice catching the ball. And we saw the dividends. Like, we saw what he can do in space. We saw him be able to catch the ball. Sean Payton said that he has Joker tendencies and Joker characteristics, and that he's the hardest worker there, that he's in the practice facility before Bo Nix each day and is there when Bo Nix leaves. And so he is working extremely hard. The issue was that he plays like that, more of that Joker role. He can't be your every down back, but when it comes to Sean Payton exploiting problems that are matchups that a defense is throwing out there, there's not a guy I would rather have than JK Dobbins. Just seeing like There were a couple times last season where he probably could have made a cutback and gotten insane yards. And so you're just hoping, hey, going into this next year, you have another year with Bo Nix and this offensive line and with Zach Strief coaching up this offensive line and helping you out. And so I expect him to have a massive year, right? So this is the play where, dude, if he just busts it outside, he has that entire left side of the Bengals' entire field and could have easily taken that for 6. But we saw incredible flashes from him last year. JK Dobbins is way better than anyone's giving him credit for, and I cannot wait for Sean Payton to come back with that famous quote that he had last season where I got 2 middle fingers and I just know when to use them now, because I know Sean Payton is reading that PFF report and saying there is no way that I am the 28th best running back room in the NFL. I'm Sean Payton, and that's something we can all believe in. Oh, that was halfway down. Come on!